Hi, this is Melanie with the Pardesi channel. I'd like to review one of my all-time favorite films of Indian cinema or any cinema, and that is Devasuram starring Mohanlal and Revathi. This film is a classic from 1993. The director is the famous I.V. Sasi, and the scriptwriter is Ranjith, who did such an incredible, layered script. He based it on a real person. Mohanlal's character, Neela, is based on a real person, Mullasserry Rajagopal, who had a wife named Baby, who was a dancer who gave up dancing, and he was bedridden for decades and in a wheelchair. The real person who died in 2002, evidently joked that Ranjith didn't capture even half of what had happened in his life, which is absolutely incredible. So the amazing thing is, the first time I watched this film, I had no idea it was based on a real person. In some ways, it seems like that there's no way that any of this could possibly be true. It's so larger than life, and yet it's based on a real person, and many events evidently are from this real person's life. He also was kind of a rowdy character, but had a passionate love of the arts, as does Mohanlal's character Neela in the film. This film, to me, it's the best of masala. It's a little bit of everything, and it has something for everyone. It has the fight scenes. It has the romance. It has the family melodrama. It has superb acting, and it has unbelievable fights. So it's the whole package. And evidently this was kind of a transition in Mohanlal's career, where he just kind of came into his own in his 30s, and several lines from the film have become iconic, and just the way that he would leap out of a Jeep car and, with one leg kick up his mundu to wrap it up before a fight or a confrontation became iconic, and justifiably so. He is incredible in this film, but he is matched by Revathi, who I loved her Spitfire character in Mona Ragam, but I think in a way she's even better in this film because she gets to show off her talent. She had studied classical dance from the actress herself from when she was 7 years old. And oh my God, the dancing scenes in this film blow me away. Absolutely blow me away. I've been doing a dance class of Indian dance for the last couple of years, so I can't do an iota of anything that she's doing on screen. But what it has taught me is an appreciation of the beauty of the way that especially the way that she presents her hands. Oh my God, she just tells every story of the song with her hand motions and the way in her eyes, and oh my God, everything. This film is a battle of wills, and there's two sets. There's a battle of wills. Mohanlal's character he's the son of a wealthy man. But he is frittering away his father's wealth. He has been ostracized by his family, and he has a group of rowdy friends that surround him, that he hangs out with and gambles with and whatever, but they also get him into trouble. He has a rivalry with another rich family in the neighborhood, in the village. So there's a whole drama with that, with his friends doing crazy things, doing pranks that then lead to one, consequence after another, until somebody gets killed, and then even more consequences happen to Mohanlal because of these friends and hangers-on that he has allowed in his life. He is loyal to a fault to those friends. He has innocent plays a long-suffering caretaker of his mansion who is really the father figure in his life. And I love the relationship in the film between Mohanlal and Innocent. Then we have Revathi's family. She plays Banumati. She has obviously, when we first see her in the film, she has been away from the village studying dance. She has the opportunity to be a dance teacher in Delhi or something, like, very prestigious. She's home visiting her father, and her sister informs her that her father is in debt, that he's a drunkard, whatever. Things come to a head. She is so full of pride. And so is Mohanlal's character, is so full of pride. And the clash, the misunderstandings. Okay, this film is from 1993. Am I spoiling it for anyone? If you are this far and you have not seen the film, stop here. Just know it's an all-time great, 5-star. You have to watch it. He decides to play this trick on her, pays her father to have her perform at the opening of a temple, but then he makes her perform at his private courtyard as if she's a courtesan. And my dance teacher explained to me that the debut of a young dancer is a very important, an auspicious occasion, and to have it be denigrated that way would be a grave insult.
വേണമെങ്കിൽ എന്റെ ജീവൻ എടുത്തോളൂ.
ഞാൻ തയ്യാറാണ്.
അങ്ങനെ വഴിക്ക് വാ.
That dance sequence is one of my favorites on all film. Just the way that she expresses her anger, and his joking friends are mocking her, but then even they are come to appreciate the beauty and the majesty of her dance, and she pounds her feet in anger and defiance through the dance. And then you can see Mohanlal is winking at the musicians, and he's paid somebody to make the tempo go faster and faster, and her feet go, and she's whirling like a whirling dervish, and she refuses to be defeated by everything he's putting her through. And then at the end, she comes up, she's like, "You think you've won, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I always win." And then she's like, "My bangles aren't, are not worth, being in your presence." She whips her dancing bangles off and throws them at his feet, and it's like, "I will never touch these again. I will never dance again."
നിങ്ങളെപ്പോലെ രാഭാസന്റെ മുന്നിൽ ചിലങ്ക കെട്ടി ആടിയപ്പോ കളങ്കപ്പെട്ടത് ദൈവദത്തമായൊരു കലയാണ്. എന്റെ കാലുകൾക്ക് ഇനി ഈ ചിലങ്ക ഇടാനുള്ള യോഗ്യതയില്ല. ഉള്ളിൽ 1000 മുള്ളു കുത്തിയിറങ്ങുന്ന വേദനയിലും എനിക്ക് സന്തോഷിക്കാൻ ഞാനിതിവിടെ ഉപേക്ഷിക്കുകയാണ് എന്നേക്കുമായി.
And so that's how she gets back at him. And then he's Innocent, his father figure, is so disappointed in him. He tries to make restitution, but she's so proud. There's so many instances when both of them, it's almost like Pride and Prejudice. Their pride gets in their way. They're looking at each other through their stereotypes, their images of what each other is. And even though other people tell them, well, he has a good heart or whatever, they both just hair trigger anger, and it gets both of them into trouble. Various things happen, and her family's circumstances are lowered. But I keep thinking about the fact, if she wasn't so proud, if she hadn't made this statement that she would never dance again, she could have rescued her family. But she won't. She won't, unless they are thrust into poverty. And from one circumstance to another, they're forced to take refuge in Mohanlal's mansion. And then that starts rumors and a whole other thing. So this whole first half of the film, it's the drama between Mohanlal and the rivalry with this other family. And then there's this drama and this confrontation of wills between Mohanlal's Neelan and Bhanupati Ravati's character. And finally, something happens to Mohanlal and he's paralyzed. And so the second half of the film, you see this huge change in his circumstances and his demeanor. He wants to change. He has been cursed by her saying that she would never dance again. And then all of these horrible things happen. So it's almost like an examination in the film of karma, of you do these bad things and then all of these bad things are going to happen to you. And at one point he's begging for death and he says to Revati, "You said you would only dance if I was dead. I am lying here half dead. Will you please dance again?" And that's the moment that turns in the relationship, and her being willing to dance in front of him again is what brings him back to health in many ways. But then there's a final confrontation scene with the other family that is epic. The iconic line at the end, it still stuns me no matter how many times I've seen it, of him saying, "I just want peace, therefore I'm going to take your hand," and he just chops the hand off. Oh my God. And it's the very end of the film. Like, it's epic. Absolutely epic. So there's so many relationships that I love in this film. I love the hate to love trope. I love that sequence. I love that for romance, and that this film is that in spades. And Mohanlal has so many wonderful moments. His character goes through so much and has such a character arc of being this arrogant landowner, head of this gang of rowdies and the wealthiest guy in the district, and then finding out through his mother's death that he was actually a bastard, and just it's like it all comes crashing down. All the things that he thought he was, all the things, and Revati sees him through the window. She sees him railing at his father's car in the rain, and just like his confession of what he has learned on his mother's deathbed. So she starts to feel for him. She could see the grieving and the depression that he's going through his mother's death. And it really transforms him. I mean, it's just an incredible arc of all of these events that he goes through in his life, and how he changes and how he tries to do good for this young dancing girl. And by the end, he's a reformed rake that she's in love with him, and he doesn't feel that anymore, that he is worthy of her love. Oh my God. Oh my God. Be still my heart. It's so amazing. I love this film to pieces. It is a classic. I did not realize that there is a sequel to this film where Mohanlal plays both the father and the son, so I've got to check that out. Scenes from this film I have watched over and over and over again, but especially that dance confrontation, I just think is one of the best scenes on film ever. Just the expressiveness and the anger and the pride that she expresses through dance, and how she transforms all the people around her who think that they have beat her, who think that they can mock her, and then they just can't not help but admire her talent and just her defiance and her will. And I love that scene. I love it so much. Tell me what your favorite scene of Devasuram is. Like I said, I think it's something for everyone. I'm sure many men like some of the fights or the iconic lines that Mohanlal gives. He just has this swagger through most of the film that is incredible. There's so many iconic lines from the film. I mean, I just love how Mohanlal can be paralyzed and lying on the ground. I mean, he's lying there on the floor, defiant, and the rival pins him down with a foot, like, "Get well so that I can cut you to pieces next time I see you." I mean, there's just so many iconic moments. But the other thing that shines through, and I think this is for Mohanlal the person, is his love of of music and the arts. And so while he is a rowdy character and has all these rough and tumble scenes, there's so many also scenes of him in appreciating classical music. There's a flashback where you can see that that came from his mother, who was evidently a very talented classical singer. He always wants any of the traveling musicians to come to his house to play, and he supports them and in various ways. And he just was a lover of the arts. And I love that he's such a complex character. He's not just one thing. He's not just a rowdy. He's a complex, real person, which in fact, it is based on a real person, which is, again, amazing. I just came to really admire Mohanlal. This is one of the early films of his that I saw, and it remains, even though I've seen Spadakam and so many other films that are great. I mean, he's just great in almost any film, right? But this one holds a special place in my heart, and I loved it so much. My dance teacher speaks Hindi. She grew up here in the United States. She had never seen a Malayalam film, and I just handed her the film, and I just said, you have to see this film. You have to see it. This is just one that I think everyone should see. Mohanlal film, Mohanlal fan or not, it is a must classic of Indian cinema. If you enjoyed this film review of the classic film Devasuram, please press that like button, share the video, follow us on Twitter at PardeziYT, subscribe to the Pardesi channel. Then if you hit the bell, you'll get a notification whenever I have a new trailer reaction or film review.